So you left corporate, you started a business, and you're on a sales call. And everything is going well until you get an objection thrown at you. So today we're gonna talk about objections and what to do before you even figure out how to handle them. Most objections are fake. And treating the ones that are fake like they're real is exactly why you're gonna keep losing deals that you should have been closing. So when somebody throws an objection at you and you're just like panicking and scrambling, trying to fix it with your busted ass bro sales tactics, more than half the time, there's actually nothing to fix. The objection is not real. It was just fear. So you're sitting there trying to solve this fear thing 10 minutes in when the problem didn't even exist. By that time, the sale is gonna walk out the door. So today I'm gonna teach you something that completely will change how you handle objections. You're gonna learn how to figure out in the first 2 seconds of the objection if what you're facing is actually a real objection or if it's just the prospect's fear talking. So I'm gonna actually show you a way to read it that you've never heard of before. Okay, let's start with the basics. So there's 2 kinds of objections in the whole entire world. That's it, just 2. The first one is logistical. So that's a real thing that is actually happening. So I can't do your program because I have to chaperone my kids' camp for the next 5 weeks. Okay, cool, no problem. We'll just talk in week 6. Or I can pay you, but I need my credit card to renew on the 1st. So cool, no problem. We'll just talk on the 2nd. The other one is where most objections come from, and that's fear. And that's actually a feeling pretending to be a fact. So here's the thing about people. They're really freaking scared to say no. So they want to say no because they're scared of spending the money or doing the thing that's uncomfortable or whatever it is. And we all know that we have to become uncomfortable to grow, but they're too scared. So they're in fear and they're just gonna make some shit up. There's no fact. It's just a feeling that they're putting a fact in front of it to pretend that it's real. So every single objection you'll ever hear is one of these 2. Every single one. Okay, so if you've seen any of my other stuff, you know that a lot of my teaching comes from the map of consciousness. If you don't know what the map of consciousness is, I'm gonna put a link below to an article that talks about what it is, but just a refresher, if you watched my stuff before, there's a guy named David Hawkins, super famous psychologist, wrote lots of books. He came up with a map of human consciousness on a scale of 0 to 1,000. 0 is like you're freaking gonna die soon, and 1,000 is like you're Jesus Christ, like you're enlightened and everything is amazing. So there's a line in the middle of that map of consciousness and it's a 200. Above 200, you're in power, you're in truth, you're in positivity. So this is things like courage, willingness, acceptance, love. Below 200, you're in force, you're in falsehood, all the negative stuff. So shame, fear, apathy, pride is under 200. So here's the thing about sales. When you have someone that is in a fear-based objection, they're operating below 200 and they're in falsehood. So what you're really doing is reading what side of the line the prospect is talking from. When they're operating above 200, they're in truth, they're in power. It's a logistical objection. It's like, how do we handle this thing that I have to overcome logistically? Fear is below 200. Fear is actually at 100. So I need to think about it. I just have to talk to my husband or wife. It's not information, it's information. It's a state disguised as information. So you're not sorting these sentences, you're reading which side of the line they're on. So are they above 200 or below 200? That is the whole skill. So why does this matter so much? Because you handle these 2 completely differently. Again, above the line, logistical objections you just solve. Oh, you're busy for 5 weeks? We'll talk on the 6th week. You got to talk to your husband because you make all decisions together that are above $5,000. No problem. Let's get on a call with all three of us. You just solve it. But when they're in fear, you do not solve it because there's nothing real to solve here. They're in falsehood. They're lying to themselves. They're lying to you. And if you're trying to fix something that's false, like it's a real logistical problem, you're going to lose every single time. All right, so let's come up with an example. So you say your thing, it's amazing. They're like, yeah, that's great. And then you're like, that'll be $10,000. And they're like, okay, yeah, let me just think about it and I'll get back to you soon. And you're like, yeah, completely makes sense, totally. Do you want me to follow up next week? You just help them run. You help them stay in their fear. You treated it like an actual objection that was logistical, but you let them walk out the door yourself. They're never going to talk to you again. They needed an exit. They needed a way to not tell you no. So now flip it around. Somebody really is busy for the next 4 weeks and it's a real thing above the line. So they're willing, they're in willingness, they're above 200, but they just have a logistical thing in the way. And you're like, what are you scared of? And they're like, you're a freaking weirdo. Like, I'm not scared. I have to chaperone my kids' camp for the next 5 weeks. So you can only help them logistically when it's a logistical objection. So you've got to know what side of the line they're coming from. So how do you tell? How do you actually read this? Okay, couple of things. So above the line stuff is really specific. I am busy for the next 5 weeks. I have a credit card statement that's renewing on the 1st. It's something that you can tangibly understand and solve. Below the line stuff is not specific. It's very, very vague. Oh, I don't know. I just have to think about it. I'll get back to you in a few days. The talk to my wife, talk to my husband thing can also be a fear-based thing. You kind of got to read the room because maybe they just bought a Lambo that they didn't have to talk to their wife about, but all of a sudden they have to talk to their wife, right? So fear-based is vague, logistical is specific, okay? Another way to tell, if you think that it's fear-based, all you do is ask a question to take away the objection. Oh, I just got to talk to my wife. Okay, cool. So if you talk to your wife and she's in, is it a hell yes? If they're like, yeah, absolutely, that's a logistical objection. If they're like, oh, I don't know, that's a fear-based objection. So some of this stuff is, there's tactics that you can figure out what the objection is, and some you just got to read the room. When people are above 200 and they're in willingness and they're encouraged and they want to move forward, they're going to be like this. When people are in fear, they're going to be like, oh, I don't know. I have to think about it. They're trying to escape. They're trying to run away. They're trying to figure out what they can say to just get off the phone so that they don't have to be like, I'm too scared to do this. Nobody's going to tell you I'm too scared to do this. They don't want to be a pussy, right? So they're going to come up with something. So again, to summarize, your job on the call when they give objections is to first figure out if the objection is coming from logistics or the objection is coming from fear. If it's coming from logistics, you just solve it. If it's coming from fear, it's your job as a person that's using your unique ability to make this world a better place and help people to take them and bring them up the map of consciousness and above 200 so that they can become the biggest and best versions of themselves. Okay? All right, so this is the type of stuff that we do in the paid membership every single day. If this is something that resonated with you, go ahead and book a call. There's a link below. And make sure that you really figure out what objections that you're dealing with in the next sales call. Comment below and let me know.